Hello, everyone. The news today continues to focus around the future of aid for Ukraine, particularly the aid coming from the United States. And here's why. With the ousting of U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, the House is currently in a disarray. There is the continuing downward slide of the U.S. Republican Party, much of which has always been against aid in Ukraine. And then there is just the procedural aspect of it, being physically unable to put through any of the proposition, unable to be sent to the Senate or to the President for his signature. And while President Biden has been doing his best to be confident and reassuring, which I appreciate, the truth of the matter is, how are you going to do this logistically? U.S. government is a very, very complicated mess, more so right now than it ever was. I mean, this is the first time in the U.S. entire history that Speaker of the House has been booted out of his seat. So we are dealing with something truly unprecedented. And one of the big concerns is that aid to Ukraine will take backseat to U.S. problems stateside. So that remains to be seen. In that case, the greater burden of supporting Ukraine will fall on Europe. Aside from the financial help to Ukraine and how that's going to be done, there's also the aspect of supplies. Ukrainian army is running out of, well, a lot of things, especially ammo. Because, as we have all been saying for a long time, this is not just some little territorial conflict. This is a real war with a lot of action. And so, everything gets used up. Even with Ukrainian soldiers capturing some of Russia's equipment and supply, it's not enough. And the effort they're having to put in pushing the Russian army out is very great indeed. And so that is a concern. Basically just running out of ammo. This piece from Reuters goes back to our conversation yesterday about the issues with staffing your army with prisoners. So, not only is it bad for the people at home when these soldiers come back and go back to their old ways because they don't know any better, it's also not so great for the army. Basically, they have been described by Russian military officials as just being meat. They're just cannon fodder. And it's very likely that these people know that that's how they will be treated. And so there's very little motivation to observe discipline, to train, to stay sober. There's been numerous reports of Russian soldiers getting drunk and blowing themselves up, shooting each other, stabbing each other, setting things on fire, etc., etc. Also, I am curious what human rights organizations have to say from the standpoint of the treatment of prisoners when it comes to Russia's conscription of their own prisoners.